Ever wondered how our daily language keeps evolving? Today, let's compare how Millennials, Gen Z, and Gen Alpha say the same 20 phrases, and trust me, some of these will blow your mind. Millennial are 1981 to 1996. Gen Z are 1997 to 2012. Gen Alpha are 2013 to 2025. Different generations speak Millennial versus Gen Z versus Gen Alpha. 1. That's great. Millennial says, that's great. That's awesome. Gen Z says, that's fire. Gen Alpha says, slay. 2. I'm happy. Millennial says, I'm happy. Gen Z says, I'm vibing. Gen Alpha says, I'm feeling rainbow. 3. Let's go. Millennial says, let's go. Let's roll. Gen Z says, let's get it. Gen Alpha says, you let's bounce. 4. No problem. Millennial says, no problem. Gen Z says, you're good. Gen Alpha says, easy peasy. 5. I understand. Millennial says, I understand. Gen Z says, I got you. Bet. Gen Alpha says, crystal clear, bestie. 6. I'm busy. Millennial says, I'm swamped right now. Gen Z says, I'm booked. Gen Alpha says, can't I'm coding. 7. That's funny. Millennial says, lol. Gen Z says, I'm dead. Gen Alpha says, 8. Let's talk later. Millennial says, talk soon. Gen Z says, you. Gen Alpha says, BRB after Roblox. 9. I'm confused. Millennial says, that's puzzling. Gen Z says, I'm lost. Gen Alpha says, bruh. What? 10. Be careful. Millennial says, watch out. Gen Z says, stay safe fam. Gen Alpha says, don't fall like last time. 11. I'm excited. Millennial says, I'm super pumped. Gen Z says, hype AF. Gen Alpha says, my pixels are dancing. 12. I'm sad. Millennial says, feeling low. Gen Z says, mood. Gen Alpha says, Roblox crashed again. 13. Be quiet. Millennial says, keep it down. Gen Z says, SHHH. Gen Alpha says, mute your mic please. 14. Let's party. Millennial says, let's have fun. Gen Z says, let's rage. Gen Alpha says, Fortnite dance time. 15. I'm tired. Millennial says, I'm so exhausted. Gen Z says, I need a nap. Gen Alpha says, my energy bar is red. 16. I love you. Millennial says, I care deeply. Gen Z says, love you. Gen Alpha says, heart emoji x 1000. 17. Good job. Millennial says, well done. Gen Z says, W for you. Gen Alpha says, major W giga win. 18. I'm angry. Millennial says, I'm pissed. Gen Z says, I'm triggered. Gen Alpha says, don't test me, NPC. 19. I'm shocked. Millennial says, no way. Gen Z says, I'm shook. Gen Alpha says, jump scare FR. 20. I'm hungry. Millennial says, let's eat. Gen Z says, I need food. Gen Alpha says, snack time, slay edition. Which generation are you? Drop your favorite phrase in the comments. Use a call to action, like, subscribe and share for more fun content.